postponed yet again. You can join in on the conversation by logging on to our website, indiapostlive.com. You can also download our app from the Android store, and you can also join us on Twitter with hashtag IndiaPostLive. Right, the worldwide release of the southern superstar Rajnikant's much-awaited film Kochadiya has been delayed once again. The movie was slated for May 9th and has now been postponed to May 23rd. Will it then be actually released then? Take a look.
It's heartbreak time as millions of fans feel let down. It was announced on Thursday that Rajnikant's much-awaited Kochadiya will now release on May 23rd. The movie was earlier slated to release on the 9th of May after multiple delays. An official statement said that the film's release date has been pushed back due to technical issues. Kochadiya also stars Jackie Shroff. Interestingly, Jackie Shroff's son, Tiger Shroff's debut film Heropanti is also slated for a May 23rd release. The makers of Kochadiya have left no stone unturned to promote the film. So much so that the strictly private Rajnikant too joined Twitter on the 5th of May. So what's causing this delay? Are Rajini's fans in for another shock on May 22nd?
Clearly, many Rajnikant fans will be very disappointed. In fact, some of those that we try to speak to and bring on our show on India Post Live said they weren't very keen to because they were really very upset. Joining us in studio to discuss the whole delay of the Rajnikant film is our in-house movie blogger Sebo, Rajnikant fan Adil, and from Bangalore we have Mr. Pratap Menon as well joining in. Pratap, I think it would be correct and apt to come to you for your initial reactions to the news that the next Rajnikant film is being postponed yet again. Pratap, can you hear us? Okay, Sebo, there are many reasons that have been speculated about. Today's newspapers are saying that it could be either technical reasons, some are saying there could be even a financial crunch, some are saying they don't want Kochadiya to clash with the new Spider-Man 3D movie. What really is your take on why this delay has happened again?
Yeah, not much of information is coming forth actually, because you will see that there is a reasonable reservation against putting across any comment from the Kochadiya team. And today morning I also checked the Kochadiya Twitter account and Rajnikant's Twitter account. Nothing is coming forth. The reasons that are speculated in the media mostly are being speculated by media. I mean, there is no
official.
There is nothing official about it. Yeah, if they say technical reasons, I have reasons to doubt, because the movie has been deferred only 2 days before the launch, and before that 2 days everything should have been ready. I mean the mastering and the digital projection materials and everything should have been ready by then and all that. So it cannot be that technical reason. It may be that there have been a decision to re-edit some parts of the movie at the last moment. And if you look at the total period of the delay, which is 2 weeks, it looks likely. Or it may be the other reason may be that the movie distributor doesn't want to pit it against the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, which this DT cinema owners guys have correctly said. So that may also be a reason. But looking at the following of Hollywood movies here in India and the cult following that Rajnikant has in India, these also, I mean, it looks slightly unlikely, because once a Rajnikant movie lands in the theaters, it might just sniff off the Spider-Man, out of the theaters, seriously. So, I mean, I'm slightly clueless. I mean, I cannot confirm, or I cannot, pinpointedly tell you what exactly my take, is on it. But all I can tell you that I am also, slightly sad, because I expected to watch the movie at a good theater in 3D at a theater near my place, but I couldn't.
Okay, we've got Aditya on Skype from Mumbai. Aditya, your first reactions to the news that with Rajnikant's film being postponed. What is your reaction, Aditya?
Sorry, your voice is cracking.
Aditya, the question is, your first reactions to the news that the Rajnikant film Kochadiya has been delayed again by another 2 weeks.
Actually, I'm quite disappointed with this news, because this is the second movie in India which has used this technology. The first movie was Mataran, and I'm quite a Rajnikant fan, so I'm quite disappointed that it got postponed. But worldwide, it got released.
Right, there's a lot of speculation that perhaps the movie wasn't completely post-produced and therefore there was a delay. What are your thoughts? What are you hearing?
No, actually, I don't know about the actual what are the rumors and everything, but the post production was completed in February only for this movie. And as far as the post production is concerned, this movie was shot and produced and everything, and the post production was done in United Kingdom, and the tape and all were ready for release as far as my knowledge goes. So I can't really comment on what went wrong and where it went wrong.
Okay. Adil, clearly you're also a Rajnikant fan. You've seen the disappointment in Aditya's face because it's clearly news that it is going to be released worldwide, but we can't see it in India.
I mean, people are disappointed because the movie is not released yet. And of course, I'm also one of the Rajnikant's fan. But, I was waiting for this movie because this is one of the very good animated movie loaded with special effects. I was waiting, to
And
see
3D.
that. And 3D, of course.
You get to see Rajnikant come out of the screen for you.
And that too, watching Rajnikant, in that avatar, it's something, I was dying to see that. But for some
You have to
reason,
wait.
yeah, I have to wait. There could be a lot of reasons, why the movies got delayed. But, it's too early to say anything. Why
Okay.
it's getting
Interestingly, we
delayed.
have Ganesh from New Zealand also joining us on Google Hangout. Ganesh, out here there seems to be a lot of disappointment amongst Rajnikant fans that his new 3D animated film, Kocharia, is now being delayed by another 2 weeks in its release to May 23rd now. And there are also doubts whether it will be released then as well. What are your reactions?
Hey, look, thanks guys for having me on this chat actually. Look, obviously the reasons for the delay could be anything, and it's hard to comment on it or hard to say anything. We know it's coming out. The anticipation is there. Everybody's expecting and looking forward to it. So even though it's been delayed, it's definitely going to happen. So it's just a matter of a few more weeks. But hopefully, let's not see another delay on this release.
Okay. Cebu, a lot of small movie producers have actually put their releases on hold for May 9th. There was a lot riding on it, isn't there?
Yeah, the only movie that was actually daring to go, to compete against, I wouldn't say compete, but releasing with Kocharian was Hawa Hawaii. So the postponement of this movie must be a good, good news for them. We might see a series of postponements. Even most likely the movie that has Jackie Shroff's son, Tiger Shroff's, debut. So that probably is also on the cards, because any actor who's being launched for the first time, it would be very, very difficult to share the screen or to share the screen time with Rajnikant.
With Rajnikant, absolutely. Aditya, in fact, that's a very valid point, because we also believe that the Hindi debutant, Tiger Shroff's Hero Panti is also releasing on the 23rd of May. So a lot riding on that, as well as the fact that Rajnikant's film is sort of also releasing on that day. What would you prefer as a Rajnikant fan? Would you prefer that maybe the movie be released then, or be released earlier?
Look, I didn't quite hear the first part of your question because of not very clear line. So would you mind just repeating that for me so that I could actually?
So we were discussing how the 23rd is also big for a lot of other films, like the debut of Tiger Shroff's Hero Panti as well. A lot riding on that date.
Yeah, look, Rajinikanth movie to me always takes, always stops the list. It's a superstars film, and it's one of a kind film. The first film of its nature, in Indian cinema. So regardless of what else is happening on that day, to me personally, Kocharian will always be top of the list.
Okay, and Aditya, your views?
Hello. Hello. Yes, to me.
Hello.
Aditya, can you hear us?
Hello. Is that to me?
Yeah,
Pratap?
sorry. Can you please repeat that?
Yes, so a lot of other films also slated for release on the 23rd of May, especially Jackie Shroff's son's debut, Hero Panti, as well.
Yeah, yeah. But actually, I don't feel the other releases are threat to Kochadian, because as a Rajnikant fan, as far as I know, people will go for Kochadian first rather than Jackie Shroff's movie. And actually, I was prepared to spend my weekend with Rajnikant today, but this news that it will get released on 23rd May, uh, I'm really disappointed with that. But let's wait for 23rd, then we will see.
Absolutely, and I hope the 23rd is a good weekend for you as well. Thank you so much for joining us there from Bombay.
Thank you, thank you.
So clearly, an entire weekend, a lot riding on it, Adil. The weekend was where everyone was setting all their engagements aside for Rajnikant.
Yeah, see, I told you, there is lots of disappointment. People are facing.
So what does Rajnikant do that really gets everyone up in the cinema hall? Because I've been for one or two Rajnikant films, and I have heard the audiences just get up at every appearance of his on screen.
He
has a few telltales, right?
Yeah, according to me, Rajnikant was the first superhero of the film industry, isn't it, Sebo? Yeah. He was according to me, he was the first superhero. When I was a kid, I saw his movie. It was a Hindi movie. Andha Kanun was the movie. Amitabh Bachchan was also there in the movie. It was only Rajnikant. It was only Rajnikant in that movie.
No, Amitabh had a guest appearance.
Guest appearance, but still, Amitabh Bachchan was, he was a superstar. He still is. He was a superstar at that time. But Rajnikant was he wasn't a Hindi movie star at that time. But the kind of action sequences saw in that movie, it was outstanding, incredible. The way he fought with those, goons, and the fighting sequences, absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, Andha Kanun and Giraftar were two very conscious efforts to cash on
to cross over.
To cross over, and to cash in on the superstar image of South Indian, South superstar Rajnikant into the mainstream Bollywood. And it went very well, I would say, but I don't know what happened later on. But Andha Kanun and Giraftar were two of the very successful Hindi movies of Rajnikant.
When I was a kid, I started copying him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually have someone on Google Hangout joining us from Bangalore. Pratap, if you can hear us now, your reactions to the news that the Rajnikant film has been postponed. Did you set aside a lot of engagements this weekend just to go see that film?
Actually, it is very disappointing. All the Rajini fans are just waiting the movie release after his long ill health and all those things. So everybody was waiting for his movie. And what I feel is next week election results are coming. So they are a little hesitant to release it now. Because almost 1 week after the election results, it will be a big this one. All people won't be listening to movies or going for movies and such like that. So my feeling is that that's why maybe after 23rd, means 23rd, the present release date, that will be appropriate.
Okay, and that's true, Cebu, because I believe the movie is going to be released in Tamil, in Japanese, in Bhojpuri, Bengali, Punjabi, Marathi, and in English. And in Telugu, the movie is coming with the name of Vikram Sima. So a lot riding on the timing of the release.
Yeah, a lot riding on the time of the release. And I don't know, I mean, whether there is a lot of speculation on the social media today as well, whether this is going to be good, this postponement is going to be good or bad for the movie, because a section of the Rajini fans are saying that may not be, this postponement or this deferment may not be very good for the movie. But there are these staunch supporters who believe, I mean, no matter what, they will be there in the first day, first show, and not even the first day, first show. They will be there. They will ride up to the theaters, at the midnight before the release, and they will be there from the very dawn. And so that's there. So. There is a huge speculation. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, probably this is a sincere effort to avoid that election results coming out and the new government is being formed and all that. That may also be a very valid reason.
So we've got a tweet from Nijhar Kasaru saying the least Rajinikanth fans deserve is a reason that explains why this film is getting delayed.
Okay. So that
emotive.
Okay. So that is so emotive.
Yeah. I'm just going to go across to our guest who very kindly joined us from New Zealand. Ganesh, how are you going to see the film? Will they be releasing in cinema halls, or how will you actually see the film?
Well, I'm guessing that's a question posted here because of the word New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Look, at this stage, we haven't got any information around how and when it's being released in New Zealand. But being the kind of film it is, and the expectation around it, we've got a couple of local distributors who usually bring in high-profile movies, such as Rajinikanth's movies, and they brought in the Robo and Boss and everything, massive hits. So I'm guessing the same distributor or somebody along that industry would probably definitely bring it into one of the theaters in New Zealand. Usually, Tamil movies, Bollywood movies are a lot more welcomed and runs for a longer period. But the Tamil crowd is a lot less here compared to the Hindi-speaking audience. So usually the Tamil movies are run for 3 or 4 days only, probably two shows a day and 3 or 4 days only. But given the expectation and the anticipation around this movie, I'm guessing it'll be run for a longer period. Definitely in 3D. So obviously I'll be going ahead and doing some advanced bookings and all that. I know the person who usually brings movies in and distributes. It's a pretty small community, so we kind of know each other very well. So yeah, definitely, I've already been in touch with him, trying to establish some idea around what's he going to do and trying to get tickets for the first day, first show, irrespective of how many shows they're going to show. If it happens to be just one show in New Zealand, then it happens to be the first and last show. But at least I'll be there to watch it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and so Subbu, that's
interesting.
True.
Yeah, that's very. And taking a cue from what you said, that 3D is also being made an official, sort of an official reason why this postponement has happened. Because you will have to consider in a typical multiplex, if there are 6 screens, there would be 1 or 2 theaters that are 3D enabled. Because the 3D theaters has to
and
have
Spider-Man's already taken that space.
Yeah. And now if Kochadian has released now, it would have, the 3D screen time had to be split with Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Absolutely.
So
you can't have that for Rajinikanth.
Yeah, so you cannot have that for Rajinikanth.
Not at all.
But I have my own take as well, that I told you in the beginning as well, because Kochadian has released, Rajinikanth could have snipped out Spider-Man in just an instance. So.
Yeah, like Adil said, he's the ultimate superhero. You could see that, folks in New Zealand have already started looking at ways they can advance booking. So Adil, tell us, or at least show us how Rajinikanth really does a few things and really draws the crowds in.
Oh yeah, as I said, when I was a kid, I saw his movie, and the way he wears his shades and that,
Show me.
Okay,
show
I'll
us.
show you.
Let's see if we can pull that off.
It is something like this, and
Don't break
there has
the
to be a
shade.
sound effect to back it up, but last we don't have it. You do something like this, and the sounds come. Just like that.
Brilliant.
So I learned it at that time as a kid, and it was something which I did. I'm like, oh my God, I have copied Rajinikanth. Okay, this is something I used to show to everybody. To my mom, I used to bother her all the time. Look, mom, what I've done. This is Rajinikanth. I used to do that.
And the cigarette tricks as well.
Yeah, the cigarette trick.
We can't do that. That'll be hazardous in studio. But Ganesh, what stands out for you when Rajinikanth comes on screen? What is it that really gets you, excited about seeing him coming on screen?
Well, to me, it's the style. It's the charisma. It's the style. The way he has carried himself in a similar stylish manner over the period of time. Almost in every movie. As the other gentleman was just explaining the glass-wearing mannerism, I was just recollecting watching some of his old movies recently. I've got a collection of movies at home. Basha, Shivaji, Robo, and some of the old ones as well. The original Padikadavan and those kind of movies as well. So, every now and then we would just go and watch repeatedly some Rajinikanth movies. Maybe now and then, depending on who I've got at home, we'll probably do a Rajinikanth movie night as well. Probably watch a couple of movies in a row and all that.
Yeah.
Biggest thing for me is even at this age, even after so many years of being in the industry, the way he carries himself, his humble nature, the style, the charisma, those kind of thing really stands out, and I think that's what's makes them stand apart and stand aside from other people.
Election result.
Yeah, so we just wanted to also get in Pratap. Pratap from Bangalore. Pratap, what are the reactions being amongst the Bangaloreans to the news? People around you, Pratap. Pratap, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Just
Can you
wanted to
please
get a
repeat
sense
the-
of how the people, how folks in Bangalore have taken the news.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I cannot.
Okay, seems to be having a problem with that. I would imagine there's an entire, I mean, of course, as you saw there, that Ganesh from New Zealand sustains himself on a regular dose of Rajnikant. But the fact is that there's an entire swath of people who will be really, really upset and disappointed. Like that tweet said, they want answers.
No, you just need to go visit Twitter or Facebook and search by the hashtags Rajnikant or hashtags Kocharia, and you would know what. It's not just reaction. It's an upheaval. It's an upheaval over there, and lots of speculation, the reason of the delay and all that, and what might happen if the film gets delayed, or whether it's for the betterment of the movie, whether it's being re-edited, or whether even the distributors didn't have enough. I mean, they wanted to re-edit the film and all that. So, thousand things are being, being posted on the internet, and just one look at these, social media.
Just look at him. I mean, he
Yeah.
joined Twitter and he's crossed over 2 million followers already.
Oh yeah. So what might happen to that account now?
So what's this whole Twitter phenomenon of him signing up really to create the pre-film buzz as well?
No, that has these days this has become more or less a routine for all movie stars and creating a movie account on the Twitter and all that. So Rajnikant, I believe he was slightly late, considering his superstar status to join Twitter. We all expected him to be much earlier on Twitter, but better late than never. He has joined
2 million.
and he has joined, and how? I mean,
Absolutely.
when there was not a single tweet, there was 20,000 followers, and he has just made a couple of tweets, and it ran to millions.
Ganesh, are you following him on Twitter?
Yes, I'm actually on Twitter, and the moment I saw the news of Rajinikanth joining Twitter, I straight away logged in. I don't usually. I'm only active on Twitter when I have some things to say. I don't really make it a point to be on Twitter. But the moment I saw the news about Rajinikanth joining Twitter, I made it a point to quickly log in and quickly click on follow.
But would you
him.
say it's Rajnikant joining Twitter, or Twitter joining Rajnikant, given the entire sort of outflow of followers and excitement around it? That's the word here, the buzz here, that actually Twitter joined Rajnikant.
Also, the singular fact
Well, I mean,
that
of
without carry
Because
on.
over the years, we've seen some really good humor as well based on Rajinikanth. Like one of the things being an animated ad for, I think, an oil or something where the bullet gets shot and then he races against in the bike and then catches up with the bullet, kind of thing. Similarly, I think down the line, Twitter will probably come up with some ad campaign featuring Rajinikanth to try and bump it up around the world a little more. So.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of buzz on Twitter. One question that's been asked that I ask all of you, and Ganesh, I'll start with you. How many of you agree that the delay of Kocheria will have a bad impact on the film? Or will it have any impact?
Well, look, I mean, like Pratap said earlier, the fact that the election results are coming out soon could well be one of the major contributing factor for the delay, if not the only contributing factor. I mean, it's one of the longest anticipated movies, and everything was set pretty much almost in stone for it to go through. But all of a sudden, obviously, it's been delayed. Look, I don't think I mean, obviously, there will be a lot of fans who will be making a lot of, expressing their disappointment constantly around the fact that it's been delayed. But then at the same time, you have to take into account that it's not cancelled. It has just been delayed. So it's still going to come out.
Coming out.
You're still going to watch it. Just have to take a little more practical approach to it instead of trying to be a bit crazy over the fact that it has been delayed.
But Sibu, can you have a practical view when it comes to Rajinikanth at
no,
all?
I mean, then my question is when they decided on the release date of the movie, they would all know that the election, what the election schedules are. I mean, these are the things you keep in your mind while you schedule a movie's launch date, and especially if it's
But
a
if they finished
Rajinikanth movie.
post-production in February and kind of had already
No,
closed
that's
everything?
what. See, I mean, I don't know whether they have at all, finished the post-production work of the movie in February. That's what. See, these are all hearsay or speculations that are going on the internet. But also, you need to look at the fact that it's also his daughter's first directional debut. So probably they are, probably they are
Playing safe.
making sure that nothing goes wrong, and they're a bit extra cautious before the release of the movie.
Adil, will it have a bad impact on the film, the delay?
Of course not. Would not say that. And what Seb was saying that, what could be the reason for his delay? I would say good news is his movie is coming, and that too in Hindi, because we have only 3 or 4 his Hindi movies, hardly Hindi movies which we could watch, but we have a movie which is coming very soon. So that's again, it's a good news.
But anyway, Rajinikanth is too strong to withstand. I mean, he's strong enough to withstand any kind of impact
Right.
that might cause this delay.
And of course, Ganesh, this is the directorial debut for Saundarya. This is huge. There's a lot riding on it, right? So do we believe that perhaps they're just playing it safe then, and sort of waiting it out before they get everything right technically and otherwise before they release the film?
Look, I think it's like the other gentleman was mentioning, it's clearly a debut movie as well, for his daughter. So and it's one of a kind movie, first time of its kind in Indian cinema. So they want to try and get everything, all the ducks lined up, make sure they've covered all aspects, try and do even a delayed release. They might accept a delayed release rather than not a good or a failure release. So they rather go through a delayed release and have a successful release, and rush into a release and not be a big success kind of thing. So obviously from their perspective, they want to try and go through a checklist kind of thing, make sure they've got everything right, make sure that everything is checked, not miss anything. Don't want this coming back in any way. It has to be like right first time and one-time shot kind of thing.
So from all the buzz that you're hearing around the movie, what's the one thing you're really looking at from this new Rajinikanth offering, Ganesh?
Well, I'm actually really interested to see the actual making of the movie itself. As much as there is Rajinikanth to it, this is definitely one of a kind movie. And if this turns out to be a huge success, then this will open up a new door for Indian cinema, going forward. Because animation is something that the Indian cinema is not very very famous for. Obviously the CG effects and things like that. Especially in the South, there are some South Indian movies that I've seen where the CG effects been pretty pathetic. You can clearly say that it's even a school kid who is trying to do some programming and doing some graphic designing can probably do a better job at it. So I'm really hoping that on a bigger picture, I'm really hoping that this will open up a new door for Indian cinema, not just for South Indian cinemas, but for overall Indian movies, because this is first of its kind. It's in 3D. Of course, there's going to be some issues with it. I've seen the trailer a handful of times. It's not the best, if you compare it to some of the Hollywood animated movies, but when you compare it to some of the historical Indian animated movies or CG-based movies, this is by far is going to be one of the best ones, I think. Again, there will definitely be a lot of learning out of this movie. It's only going to get better, but we have to start at some point, and I think this will be the starting point. So this is actually, in a way, yes, it's Rajinikanth, huge superstar, one of the biggest ever, but at the same time, people should not forget that this could well be the beginning of something new for the Indian cinema itself.
Yeah, so Rajinikanth obviously does a lot of firsts, but right now he's going to be playing with a lot of new developments in technology, graphics, post-production, 3D, all of it is a mix. So do you think, Cebu, that they're just being a little careful because they don't want to get it wrong and make it look too quick, too soon?
Yeah, that should be the reason. Also, the timing of the elections seems to be a very valid and likely reason. But of course, looking at the quality of the movie and looking at the technology that they used, and you would know that what kind of post-processing or post-production work can go for, for such kind of movies. So yes, I mean, they're just probably making sure that nothing goes wrong and everything is perfect. And there has been some criticism about the quality of the animation that has been used in this movie. So probably, I don't know whether in these 2 weeks it's sufficient enough to fix those problems. Probably not. But maybe they will be using this time to make the movie storyline a little bit tighter, and probably they will be, showing it off to a few more people and getting their feedbacks and incorporate them into the editing of the movie. And I mean, this is a standard practice in Hollywood movies as well. It has happened in the case of a few Hindi movies as well. So probably, I mean, and that normally gives you a very good result at the end of the day.
Adil, Rajnikant or the special effects? What are you going to watch out for?
Rajnikant, of course.
Okay, and I'm going to give Ganesh from New Zealand the last word. Ganesh,
Yes.
obviously Saundarya and the entire team behind Kocharia is sort of incorporating all that they're hearing about the quality of the graphics. But at the end of the day, what are you going to go watch out for?
What am I going to come again? What am I going to?
What are you going to go watch out for when you go and see Kocharia?
Rajinikanth, absolutely, Rajinikanth.
Consensus there then?
What new styles he's going to introduce in an animated avatar, so that's going to be something new to watch out for. That's going to be the biggest thing of of the whole Kochadayan anticipation. What is Rajinikanth going to come out with in terms of new style, new trend
All
in
right.
an animated form?
Thank you so much, Ganesh, for joining us there from New Zealand. Thank you very much, Cebu, and thank you very much, Adil, for joining us. But clearly, it's a mixed bag. A little sweet, a little sour. For Rajinikanth fans, the delay's been a bit sour. But of course, when it comes out, consensus in at least this conversation that Rajinikanth's going to carry the day. Thank you so much for watching India Post Live. You can continue the conversation by logging on to our website, India Post Live. You can also tweet with us, #India Post Live. Thank you for watching.